everybody. Welcome to this week's hi. Welcome to this week's podcast, making a difference in education. So we say we are mad in education. So welcome to this week's session. So today we'll be discussing raising resilient children. Raising resilient children. So we'll be discussing about raising resilient children, how we can raise resilient children, not just as parents, but also as teachers or educators. So nowadays we call ourselves educators. We don't call ourselves teachers anymore.
Yeah, I don't agree.
Anyway,
Yeah.
okay, good. Okay, there should be a line. Okay, so pastors are teachers, parents are teachers, but doctors are teachers, but educators, they are different. Do you
Yeah,
understand? And we
very
are all encompassing. So that's it. So basically, we'll be discussing raising resilient children. So first and foremost, what is resilience? I want to ask, what is resilience? What is resilience? What is resilience?
Generally, you could say that resilience is the ability of one to like bounce back or like bounce out of difficult situation and standing very well on his or her feet without being like shaken or without being disorganized or without being distracted or maybe the person not giving up. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Miss AE of the Most High, what can we say resilient is?
Okay, resilience is the ability to know that I can try something, I will fail. But it doesn't mean that I've failed completely. I can still carry on. Next time I'll still come back to that thing and try again. That's what resilience is. Never believing that is the end. I fail once, I'd come back. I fail another time, I'll still come back. I don't just say, oh, I failed it, so I'm not trying that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Miss Ify of the Most High, what can we say resilience is for you?
Okay, for me, resilience has always been like a rubber band for me. So each time I hear of resilience, the object that enters my mind is that rubber band. You know, when you stretch it, like you stretch it, to like it will, it still goes back. It will snap back immediately, and then the ability for your child to be stretched and not feel this is too much. Even when the child feels so, it's okay. The child feels this is too much, and the ability to accommodate it and then go back. Even if the child fails, you go back and try it again, over and over again. Another thing that still, I think there was a time I was teaching SEL on resilience, and I remembered
So,
this
Miss Mama,
story.
can you tell us what's SEL?
Social emotional learning.
Okay.
So we do that every
Topic for another day.
yeah. So we
Okay.
do that. You help children build their social lifestyle, emotional lifestyle, and these are topics we do most times on our SEL. And then one of the days it was resilience, and I think we told a story about a boy. About 7 Up.
Yeah.
About 7 Up. That I don't really know how true that story is. That the producer kept trying until the seventh time. That was why it's called 7 Up. So I don't know how true that story is. So the ability for you to keep trying until you get it right. You don't fail because you don't just go and relax because you failed. You're not resilient. So you should be able to keep trying, stretch yourself, and make yourself.
Okay, so I think resilience has a lot to do with not staying low. Resilience is likened to an oyster. So we said an oyster, when sand enters into an oyster, it gives rise to a pearl. As a result of like the oyster is disturbed, and then the oyster gives rise. Yeah, there's so much pressure on the oyster, and then it gives rise to a pearl. So if that oyster, imagine if the oyster didn't manage the pressure very well,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't birth something as beautiful
precious as
or as precious as a pearl. So for me, that's what I would say resilience is the ability to bounce back, not to stay at a place, just like we said about Hilda, the ability to bounce back, not focusing at one place and just giving up. And why we're discussing resilience today is because we've seen the fact that a lot of people, they're smart. But once one small thing shocks them or happens, they give up. They are thrown off balance. So we're asking today, how can parents raise resilient children? Ms. Ifoma, how do you think parents can raise resilient children? What do you think parents can do to raise resilient children? Okay. What can you say parents should do? I'm a parent, I have this is always say even with 4 kids and with 4 kids. How do you think parents can raise resilient children?
Four. The road is far. The road is too far. Okay. As a parent, you should be able to raise resilient kids. So something happened in our house a few days ago, and my sister was like, "Leave this child alone." So the small boy was trying to tie his shoelace, but he couldn't do it. So he kept doing it. He started crying. So you must do it though. So you crying doesn't mean that you're not going to tie that shoelace. You must keep trying. Keep doing it until you do it well. So the mom was like, "Leave this child and let me help him and tie the shoelace." You understand? So, but then resilience, I just told him, just learn resilience. That was the time I saw the post of the group. Like, resilience. Learn resilience. Be patient with some things. When you really want to raise resilient children, you find out that it's not easy. It's not, because there are little forces that may want to come and say, leave this child. You're being too hard on this child. You're doing too much for the child. But then, when you find out that this is the right thing to do, let them find out ways to solve their problems themselves. Before you be the helicopter parent, let them try something first. Don't always jump in and want to solve the problem for them. Like, you keep buttering children up, and it will look as though this world is all filled with milk and honey. In as much as God has promised that we are going to be in the land of milk and honey. But then, our Canaan land. But what we are seeing these days, it's not like the land is not filled with milk and honey. But then, yeah, thank you. There are. Okay. Milk and honey land, please.
Like any other thing.
Yeah, mother of 4. So, mother of 4. Okay, so resilient children should be raised in our different homes, so we'll groom stronger adults tomorrow. Because the times are becoming stronger each day. The world is becoming, and if these children are not being stretched to meet up with what's going on in our times, definitely they are going to fumble tomorrow, and they will fail one stuff and feel like that's the end of the world for them. So, and that's not nice. So, as a parent, raise your children to be resilient. Thank you.
So in raising a resilient child, every parent should know that you will not be like a kind of helicopter parent to your child. Don't be there for them all the time. You know, sometimes you don't just butter them. And like we said, resilience is not something that happens overnight. It's not something one is born with. It's something that you have to work on. It's a development that you have to like over time, like be intentional about it. And it's not something, no matter even you now, if you think you are resilient enough, there are still issues that will come and hit you.
You want to give up.
You want to give up.
For example, Corona taught us.
Exactly.
COVID taught us.
Exactly.
Good. Cashless policy
Taught us
resilience.
Yeah.
So now subsidy removal is teaching us
resilience.
You
Because
must.
yesterday,
You know
I was
that
in the house and I heard everywhere was just quiet and there is no sound of generator. Or
Everybody is
anything
doing
like that.
Lagozin
And I'm
style.
like, what's happening?
happening?
What's happening? And that is what resilience is all
It's
about.
all about.
And there are people that cannot even survive, that they are so like fixated on I can't sleep without fan, I can't sleep
And that's
without
why,
AC.
and that's why Tinubu
And-
said, that's why he did this. That's why he said, let the poor breathe. Let the poor
I better pass my level. Let's hear words.
Let the poor breathe.
Breathe.
Okay. That's a good one. That's a
now.
good one because in every nonsense there is still a
Sense, yeah.
And some of the people that could not like actually afford that kind of
generator.
generator
They now have
that would
it as
see
an
it as a
excuse.
noise
Yes.
sometimes. They'll be like,
I don't like the
for
noise.
us, it doesn't get
They
off.
said,
Yeah,
let the poor
yeah, breathe.
let's pour.
Let's breathe
It's
into
okay,
air.
it's pour. Let it pour.
Let the poor breathe. Okay, whatever it is, all I know is that we are communicating.
Our president
And you know, sorry.
Or poor.
And you know something about this subsidy stuff? It has actually made most of us, most persons, they not trek.
Yes, now
Yeah.
you lose weight faster.
You lose weight.
You'll be fit.
Yes.
And some persons are becoming so fit.
But
Like,
let's not like raising a resilient child. Like if you want to raise a resilient child, you should always leave the child to stretch out. Like from a very tender age. Don't say that this my child is too small for a particular thing. This child is too small for a particular. That is why most times you see people transitioning to secondary school, you see them when they get to school, they will just be thrown off balance.
Of course.
You see an A student dropping badly to an F student.
Of course.
You understand? And all this happens because those kind of children, they're wearing like belts to face like an outer
Tough-
world
tough
where they will have to
situations.
now make decisions by themselves, where they will have to now fend for themselves, where they will have to now think of the
Probably
way forward of
everything was
everything.
done for them. For
You
example,
understand?
For example, they were being spoon fed at home.
Yeah, exactly. They wash their clothes.
And they still ask them, probably at home, they were still asking them, what would you like to
Eat like
No,
they
it's not
have
bad to
menu.
ask people what would you like to eat, but what would you like to eat based on what
What
we
is
have.
available? What is
You
available?
understand?
Yeah.
Based on what we have. What we like to eat is not based
Based
on
on
what
what I
have.
should go.
Well,
What
let's
is
be
that?
sincere. When we were growing up, did they really ask us that?
Nobody has
Nobody
time
has
for
time
that.
for that.
Who would ask
will
you?
you say, but will you say they are not asking you really help you? Didn't help you because if they told you based on what I have, I guess
Yeah.
a lot of us would have been good chefs right
Yeah.
now because
Yeah,
we're able to
that's
create
true.
menus
Exactly.
and dishes.
Yeah, make it so add one or two
That's
things together to get something very interesting.
Wow.
Okay, so we should like, especially all this. If you're a parent and you have a child in transitioning class, you should watch this video. It's very, very important. Give that child the space. Let that child do things by him or herself.
Of course.
Let that child, like, even if it entails if you're going to the market, you can take them along. They should know how things are being done. Like, if you want to cook, they should not just be there. You cook and dish out for them. They should be there. They should help out. But there is this saying
Both
that
male and female.
yes,
Yeah,
that
both male.
cooking is a life skill. Everybody
It's not
should.
for
Yeah.
It's
women.
not. It's not
Not for
gender
one
based.
gender.
Yes, so it's not gender
It's not
based
gender
because,
based because everybody eats.
yes.
Gone are the
Because
days
eating
where
is not gender
it's
based.
not gender based. So why should it be
Gender based.
You
You know,
understand?
this thing you said about cooking just reminded me of something. One of the days I was in the kitchen with my mom and then I had to cut my finger. You know, my mom insisted I must cut that vegetable. Like
With
she
your
said,
cut finger?
yes, with my cut finger. She didn't even say, "Oh yeah, please now keep it. Let me help you and cut."
Nobody does
Like,
that.
should do.
If it's my mom in her old days, there was no telephone. My mom would send you to a different state.
Yes.
Without
No-
telephone,
no communication.
Nothing. She has the hope that you
You
should
get
use
to
your
where
brain,
you're supposed to.
that you should think, like you should use your sense. And when you are living, she would always tell us, use your brain. And most times I tell my son now, like
Use
if I
your
want to
brain.
send him on errand, I will see myself telling him, use your brain. Like if you get there and what I asked you to get is not available, you should be able to substitute based on what that thing is needed for. For example, I want you to go and get a particular kind of bread for breakfast. And when you get there, you didn't see that kind of bread,
Yeah, you should
but
make
you have the
decisions.
same amount that can get another kind of bread. Instead of you to come back home to ask,
Am I
should I?
supposed to?
You should use your brain. So when I send you on errand and you make such mistakes and come back,
You go back.
you will still go back and I will still like reprimand you that why didn't you use your brain and know what to do at every point? Okay, assuming you get home now, you didn't meet me at home. So
Does that mean you
wouldn't
will
have
eat
eaten
bread?
in the first
Exactly.
place. So,
bread for the day.
and parents,
But I think back in those days, just saying use your brain when you send them on errand, I feel like you should have put that brain to test in the house first.
Yeah,
Before
before
you tell
allowing the
person
child.
to go outside.
yeah, it's something that you be doing at home. You practice
But
it
when
at
the person
home
is
from
fine, you will
home,
not just
then you take it outside.
take it outside.
You take it outside.
You should have been using your brain at home and you should have been intentional about seeing them use their
Use
brain
their brain.
at
Yeah.
home before. So they say, what can you say? How can you raise a resilient child?
Okay, we have been making valid points from mothers of 4 and seasoned learners. You know,
Interesting.
but actually, I feel that resilience should you should tell your child that it's good to fail. There's something that some parents do when the child just fails. They'll say, "Ah, this one does not know, doesn't know maths." You now leave the
Give up
child,
on the
or
person.
he's trying to do this thing once. He now broke. Say maybe say go and wash dishes. He now broke the plate. Say, "Ah, never again. Let me not see you enter that place to wash
Exactly.
anything." Now you now justify it. You now
Yeah.
send the child down be watching TV.
Yeah.
Plate washing is not for you. So the child sometimes children are
Yeah.
manipulated. Okay, so we're talking of how parents can raise a resilient child. I think in the area of household chores, maybe your child comes to you, say, go and wash this plate or wash this cup, and he breaks it. And the next thing you're just saying, oh, in fact, no more washing of plates for you, or no more doing house chores.
And the
You're
child
not-
would want to go and sweep and break
You
broom.
break the broom,
Yeah.
just keep leaving the child that he's not good at this. Or he
Yeah.
tries maths one time, he said 1 plus 1 and he says 4. He said, ah, this one, he doesn't know maths. Everything related to that. You're not helping that child to actually put in effort to achieve something. You're
And
just
children, they
letting the
think
child
too.
know. Yeah.
Once they've noticed that what you do is when they just constitute one nuisance
You
in a
let them
particular
be.
area, you let them go. Then the next time they try it some other place and they just kept
They
on
will
finding a way
intentionally
to
want to
intentionally
yes,
abandon
dodge what they
things.
are ought to do.
Because I think it same occurs for even their academics. You can't necessarily say somebody doesn't know math.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because math is something, it's basic.
Yeah, it's basic.
It's an everyday thing. You can't say somebody's not good with numbers because when the person calculates their money, when they get paid and all those stuff,
Yeah.
when they have things to do with bank, when they
Yes,
get
they
bank
will.
charges
They
and
will,
all
yeah.
of that. So basically, it's
Going to business,
even if you
still
don't go
have
to
something
you
to
still
do
have
with
something.
money.
You have to plan your life.
Yeah.
You have to
I
invest.
always
You
say I
have
run
to ask
away
for
from-
commission.
yeah.
So it's a life process. So you shouldn't say, like she said, we'll have some people come for exams here and they'll be
Yeah.
like,
You see some parents, like they come with their children for entrance, when you're trying to assess them, maybe you start from a particular one, they'll be like, no, leave this one, leave
They
this
won't
one.
see your time.
He
They
even
don't
repeated class. You will not get anything
And
from
you feel
him,
they are
you know?
just comforted.
They are
with it.
like always putting the child down, and obviously, once you say that to a child, the child wouldn't want to give anything.
Try.
The child will not even want to try. So we should
some
allow
of them will even tell you that child is like the mother's side. The man will be like, okay,
Right,
this
that's
child is
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
we don't
we've
tell
had- we've
people.
had issues like that.
this
where
child
the
doesn't know anything because he behaves like my
Yeah,
wife's
wives,
people.
people.
They don't know
And I
anything.
pity
Those
the
are-
wife.
I'm
I
very
pity
smart.
the wife of the
I used to
man
be
that
very
is
smart. And it's not only the wife.
And then sometimes the wife will be like,
from
now
their
this person
husband.
looks like my husband's people.
husband's
They don't know
you
anything.
That from my own
Blah
place.
blah
that
blah.
we
From
are-
my own place, we are very smart and all
very
this
smart
stuff.
people.
So, but it doesn't have to do with that. Most times, I feel like if a child doesn't know maths, it has to do a lot with the person that taught that child.
Exactly,
Yeah.
teachers.
Because
Yeah.
it has a lot to
We'll
do
get
with the
to
child,
that.
with teacher. Because there's a way you bring math down, you make it like very practical, real life experience, and every
Yeah.
child. For example, we do LCM here, and then you bring LCM down to
down.
real life
Yeah,
experience that they
Yeah.
see that LCM is not just LCM
The
like
almighty
almighty LCM. LCM
Yeah.
has to do it
Yeah.
basically.
Things you come across
Things you come across
every day.
every day.
Exactly. And I remember when we gained admission into university, there's this particular course, like even before we got to 300 level, they've started telling us statistics. That when you
Measurement
get
and
measurements
evaluation.
and evaluation, So me, I was earnestly waiting for 300 level for me to see what. And no, because when you get there, it's not like as
they were
you
research.
understand.
But I also think the way that statistics is being taught
Was wrong.
makes it difficult for anybody.
Yes, it actually does.
Because sometimes I know I had that experience when I was in medicine. They'll feel like 3 boards with just
Yeah.
one.
There is no
But meanwhile,
shortcuts
there are
to
things
it.
that you can do. That's mental math. There are ways you can look at
And
numbers.
you are
And
right.
you see,
And
arrive
you arrive at the same
yeah.
answer. Do you
Yeah.
understand?
That's why I even felt I wasn't really having a good maths teacher because I thought I could run away from maths. I always tell the story to my children, my pupils. So I will run away from maths. And yet, I still met maths in English. So why not just tell the children?
Yeah, you must. It's something you should open up your heart.
Just open up your heart.
And learn it. You
learn.
understand?
And to even make matter worse, like teachers will be like, you just leave it, focus on this, leave this, you know. After all, go and do arts that you don't need much of a math.
Yeah, I
you
think
know,
my
stuff
teacher
like
told me that.
When in the real
parents
life,
tell
My
everybody
teacher told
must
me
see
that.
That's why I'm not party to saying
parents
okay,
tell
this
their
person should. The way they pick subjects here,
For
the way they like
Yeah.
allow children that are not even like
Old enough to decide.
Someone's
What they
already
want.
deciding
Yeah.
what the person wants as far
From
as
the age of 13, you see
Exactly,
somebody,
it's
are you
not like-
going for art or you're going
Absolutely.
for science? you know?
Honestly, it's crazy
It's not
because
making sense.
the person has to know and the person has to try out a lot of
Yeah.
things. That's why
Yeah.
if you travel outside the country, that's why their system is better because they don't get to pick no nothing
don't be in a haste.
until they're not in a haste to
They are old
Yeah.
enough.
pick anything. Nobody's in a haste
They are
to
not
pick
in a
anything
haste.
at all.
Yeah.
But here, like once the person's 13, you're
Yeah.
telling the person, channel your life here or channel
Even
your
most
Where are we
times,
even
most
rushing
of
to?
these children, they don't know what they want at that
Where are
point
we
in
even
time.
rushing
Even
to?
who knows what
times.
who knows what the
It's
person
even
wants?
teachers that
It's
will
not
be
most
like,
times.
"No,
All
you
the time."
all the time.
You that
Okay.
is even talking, is it not now that you are
Yeah,
clear?
exactly. You are
what
clear
you
on what you
what
want for your life. Yeah, it's true. It's
Nobody
very
knows
true.
what they want.
It's very
So
true.
like we were saying, those are ways that parents can, we said
Help their
by
child.
active listening to your children. And that thing we want to throw in light is that you should learn to give them accolades, be specific on what you are giving them
Yes,
accolades
accolades
on.
yeah.
Be specific, don't just praise them or
Just like
generally
that.
and then you look at somebody like
Once you give general praises like that, you
the person
you
thinks
place,
the person is perfect.
favoritism.
Favorite.
And the person thinks the person is
The
perfect.
person
And when the
that-
person
person
makes
cannot make
mistake, the person be like, like I was watching one movie yesterday, never ever. And then she didn't get into any college. And then but she was like, my mom has given me this praise all my life. She's told me I'm a perfect child and everything. I don't know how to now tell my mom that. But that was the problem. She was very good academically, but I think her writing, the way she wrote her essay, because to get into school outside the country, you definitely need a very good essay.
Creative.
Yeah, her writing, she wasn't creative enough with her writing, with her essay writing. So if that was taken cognizance of, like if they knew,
Yeah.
they would have
So
worked
tackled
on
it,
or
yeah.
tackled it, you understand?
Yeah.
So therefore you have to like watch your children. You have to, don't think anybody's
Exactly.
perfect. You have to know
Yeah,
their
there's no
strengths.
perfect person.
You have to know their weaknesses.
Yeah.
Because whether you like it or not, all of them have strengths
And
and
weakness,
weaknesses.
yeah.
Somebody might be A-list, and when they get, haven't you seen cases that when they now get into something like university, then they cannot handle it anymore, and
Yeah.
you believe, this person that was very smart,
Yeah.
They'll join call.
they'll give
Sometimes
up.
They make very low grades that does
And
not
because
Exactly.
that's
what you're
what
expecting
That's
from that
because they
child.
were never taught resilience.
Yes.
Whenever anything was tough, it was being done for them.
Yeah.
Whenever anything was tough,
That
was
area of
handled for them.
listening to your children, I think something like that played out sometime a few years ago at Premier College in Lagos, where a child was later, like the girl died, right? Okay, but the mom, she really mourned very well. Like her grievance was not that the child died. But her problem was that
She didn't get to
felt
listen.
She didn't listen to the child because the child actually wanted to open up to her, but she was not like giving in. She felt the child just wanted to give excuses and give her reasons why
For
she
not
should
be
pull her
withdrawn.
out of boarding school. But alas, after everything, all the things that the child like wanted to tell the mom now
Played
don't
out.
her. So it is good we listen to them, because when you listen, they will have this confidence that even if I fail, I
I
have
can still
someone
fall
I
back.
can fall back to.
And
I have
just like-
someone I would like comfortably tell my
Speak
problems,
to.
and the person will not like
Just
judge
like
me or-
Ibukun Awoshika, I was listening to her this morning and she was like, parents, stop telling your child failure. Failure is part of a process.
Yeah.
It's part of a process. We need to speak to our children and tell them, oh, it is part of the process. Then you don't get this tomorrow. Just
You
try
still
harder.
get it
Try.
some other
You can
time.
even be in the process with them, like how do you try going another way? Because
Exactly.
What is this?
what if this doesn't work?
What
How
Yes.
else?
Like this
should
saying
you
that
try
when
doing
one door closes, there is
Another
a
window. Open.
Then it's just for you to sit down, calm yourself down, analyze it, and find a way around it.
Okay, thank
Then
you. guys.
another thing we want to talk about is that resilience is not invulnerability. In the sense that we shouldn't let them feel that you should not cry or show emotions. Like we used to say, men in Africa,
Men
it's
don't
part
cry.
of the world. They say men don't cry, and that is why most times you groom children that are very hard-hardened.
But like I said before,
You
that's
understand?
why women live longer.
That's why men drink.
So that's why, and
You
it's not
groom
our fault.
children that are
It's not
hard-hardened,
really our fault.
like they believe that you shouldn't show emotions. Like you get to a place where somebody is bereaved, you tell the person, don't cry.
cry.
You know? How do you reconcile that? The person just lost someone so dear to him. You should allow the person to show emotions. So we wouldn't want to raise children that are like less compassionate, that children that are not like
Children
being
that are
empathic.
children that their children are not empathic.
You shouldn't raise children that are not empathic. And all those things boils down to like this resilience. As you are teaching the child how to be resilient, you should also strike a balance. Because everybody has breaking limits. You understand? Even elastic, in as much as its property is to stretch, but it will not stretch forever. It will get to a place.
It can break.
Yes, it
Cut
can
off.
break. So that breaking point shows that all these things are man-made. Even God that created us, He created us for us to be mortal. So we cannot be immortal.
Even God that created us, at some point, He said
He
He
wept.
regretted. He regretted why
He
He
even
made
wept.
us. So He
Yeah.
wept.
So if the Almighty Jesus can weep, who are we not to like show
So
emotions?
that's why we should be very intentional about raising resilient children. Our children should know that it is okay to fail.
Yeah.
It is okay not, but it is not okay to remain
Remain there.
Now you see some children in classrooms. You give them a classwork, they do that classwork, and maybe you tell them they are not correct, and they like give up.
Yeah. They won't
But
want
you
to
see
try
some that they will go back, they will try
They'll
again,
try.
and they'll come out better. That is why I'm always telling them, okay, in my class, I'm always saying, I've taught you how to do this. Once you have tried, then look for a question and look for other ways. I believe teachers or parents should also encourage creativity in your classroom.
Yeah.
For example, me, if I'm going to be teaching you any question, if I'm even teaching you quadratic equation, once I've given you my own question, develop your own question too. It helps you and it puts your thinking skills to play. Like I saw it at play, like when a child was like, I think the title of her book, I don't know, it was like Nostalgia or something. Was title of Uche's book, and she was like, at White Cloud schools, she got to try, and then she tried and tried.
Yeah.
It's just be a cycle till you get the best.
Yeah.
I don't believe that Elon Musk had just got what he got once.
Yeah.
No, of course
Never.
I believe he gave it so many tries.
Yeah. I'm sure
Try after try after try and after
Before
try
he was able to
before
arrive.
he was
Yeah.
able to arrive.
Yeah.
So we have to teach our children that. We said listen to your children. We've said be specific with your praise.
Yes.
We've said that you should not be a helicopter parent.
Yes.
You should give them that I was hearing you say, what's the name of the other kind of parents you were talking about?
Snowplow.
Snowplow parents. Good.
Yeah.
So we said we should be snowplow parents.
Kind of parents.
And also, and there's another thing I'm noticing. Parents of nowadays, especially those ones that didn't have a soft landing when they were growing.
They want to leave their child.
They'll be like, I don't want my child to suffer.
Suffer. Yeah. What I suffer.
But
my
what
children cannot
if
suffer it.
It's one lady.
that thing is what
what
shaped you
Yeah.
or
Where
coined
you are.
you into the
Whom
way
you
you
are
are?
today.
I'm not saying leave them to go and farm.
Yeah.
I'm not saying leave them to eat
trade,
sand.
to trade
I'm not
to-
saying leave them to
to
eat
eat
rice. You understand?
Yeah.
But I'm saying like they bring their assignments home. let them breathe.
Yes.
Let them do the
breathe.
assignments.
Yeah.
Let them try.
Don't try. That is why our president is telling you, let them breathe.
Let the poor breathe.
Let the poor breathe.
That's
So
it.
that you have to be very intentional. It's good you watch over them, but please give them room and space to do that which is required of them. Give them that space. Let them do that which is required of them. So we've said we should not just be helicopter parents. We've said we should give. And I think there's something I'm always saying. The thing came to my mind like I think when we were on holidays like last year, and I was like, okay, what is that parents? Let's not lie to ourselves. You know that before you were able to get those 9 8s, it was hard for you. Then you come and say, what results did you bring back for me? In my days, when I was your age, I was the best
Was it
in my
really? Was it
class.
really rosy? Was it really
But
rosy?
now you fail to tell the person it
Exactly.
wasn't rosy.
Who explain to the child?
Me, I'm very keen on telling my children that it wasn't rosy for me.
I walked
There were times when I had to cry. There were times when the teacher was not teaching and I was not understanding. There were times when I felt like I was an ET.
Yeah.
There were times when I got There were times when I got to sit down and tell myself, okay, because I had this competition in my secondary school. His name was Shola. Shola was smart. Shola was a read once boy. Shola will read once and he will know it. But Shola felt like I was smarter than him. But the problem is Shola failed to understand that I knew that I had to read 3 times to know it. Good. To pass Shola, I had to read 3 times. And I had to be creative. To pass Shola, I had to write what will make our teacher give me more marks and see that I could beat Shola. But the problem is, you now don't tell your children all those stories. The only one you tell them is, go back in my days. They know me.
Yeah.
Even some of you that they don't know.
Even though they get it.
Parents, tell your children, chemistry was hard for me. This is how I did. I did A, B, C to make it easy. Don't present to them that perfect person. Let them also learn from your mistakes. Tell them everything. Tell them the truth. How you were able to get it through. Nobody was like A star, A star.
Yeah, from the
Tell
beginning.
them how you were able to get it through. Tell them what made you. Tell them if you had to have a reading group. Tell them if you had to set questions while reading. Tell them if you have to doodle. So doodle is a form. I really learned this recently. That doodle is a form of when you're reading, so that you can retain memory. Just doodle. But that doesn't work for me. Tell them if you had to jot. Tell them whatever strategy.
To bomb an example, tell them.
Oh no! Don't tell them that.
Tell them.
No! Don't tell them that. Don't tell them that. I beg. Exam malpractice say no. Don't tell them that. No, don't tell them that because you're trying to make them better than you. So don't do guesswork. Give them, if possible, say you go and read, research, and teach them. You understand? If you think reading to understand is their problem, or they forget easily, go and research and ask yourself, okay, I want to make how can I? Google is there.
I think
It's like technology is making life sweet.
Yeah.
Just write how do I read to understand, or ways to read not to forget.
Miss Nancy said something one of the days when she said she was planning on working on the children's handwriting, that she would go to the vendors and get newspaper,
That's the way I taught them
and
how
tell
to
them
read.
to keep rewriting.
Yes, that's what we do.
Exactly.
That was how with those children began to write well. But some parents will be like, it's like you don't teach writing in this
Then
school.
another interesting way you can teach children resilience is for you to show them how you handle difficult
Exactly.
situations.
That's part of what
Like something happened in my house recently. Like my sister did something I wanted to and my daughter now said, "Mommy, remember, no shouting. Anger lies in the lap of a fool." You know? When she said that, I had to retrace my step. And if you had gone ahead to do otherwise, you would have left a very big,
But
very
that's we need to understand that
so
we are
of that child. That child will grow up to be a child an adult that does not listen. You understand? So what's the actual?
That's why we
one
need to
thing
understand
happened
that
when I had to
we are
remind her.
models.
Even using Bible to remind my mom that what you're about to do
And she
is
didn't
not good,
listen.
and she didn't listen. So
That's why
what
we need to
more?
remind
So
our
they say
children
children
ourselves.
are great imitators. You
Yes.
should give them something good to imitate.
We need to understand that we are models. We are models. They look at us and they see what we do.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how they are going to do it.
Yeah.
So if you want to have a child that is reading,
Read, yeah.
if you want to have a child that is, oh, I know a friend that told me that when her child went to like when her child entered nursery school first, and then she was trying to learn how they would blend sounds. She was trying to learn, so and she had to go prior to and learn from, like when they were teaching
Exactly,
them in class.
yeah.
She would go and learn.
Good.
So when she learned, she had to like Google it so that when the child comes back, if the child is saying something, they can be communicating at the
Yes,
same
and you know when the child is
at
getting
the
it
same
right
pace
or wrong,
so that
yeah.
they can know how to communicate that. We're not saying that you should come to school because we now know that parents are very busy.
Yeah.
But what we are saying is that you have your phone. So basically we've been discussing resilience, and we said another way to teach your children resilience, you need to tell them about your struggles. It's important to tell them about your struggles. They need to know how you struggle. And me, I think to cap it all, to teach your children resilience, they have to know God. They just have to know God. Like me, I will always tell my children, like, you know, when you transition, you were talking about children that transition.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody that transitioned into primary to secondary school that the thing didn't give problem.
Yeah.
When I transitioned, it was very
Even
tough.
from nursery to primary.
Primary.
Yeah.
Yeah, transitioning phase is very hard. There's
very
also another transition place we don't always talk about. Going from grade 2 to grade 3.
Grade 3.
It's a
that
very
class is
big
a very
transition.
tough
Yeah,
class.
it's a very big transition class, but we don't get to. It's a very big transition class. So that transition, when you go to like when you come over to grade 6 and you're going to GS1, it's a very huge one. For me, it was very tough because, you know, primary school, you are A-list and this, and when then you now get into schools where everybody's A-list. It was tough for me. And I think all I know about God and all I know about Christianity and all I know about life and all I know about faith, it started there. Because I had to hug my Bible tight. I had to start reading my Bible very, very well because I know that the one person that can help me is God. So that I will always give my children that example, that I had to say, Holy Spirit, I know nothing. Help me. So that's why you need to teach them. They need to attend good Sunday school. The Bible, they said something, not the Bible, sorry. They say that it doesn't take, and that thing that parents don't do nowadays, but I don't blame them, but it's not their fault.
It takes a community to raise
It takes,
a
yeah,
child.
that's what I would say. It takes a community to raise a child.
Raise a child.
You just saying that it's only me, it's only me, my child.
It's
You
very
don't
common
touch my
this time
child.
around.
Why did you touch my child? It's very wrong. It takes a community.
raise a
I understand that times are evil.
Times has really changed.
I understand that times have changed, but seriously, like mentors in this parenting, like parenting coaches will say, always find. Every family needs a very good family friend that you and them have the same purpose and the same
Yes,
goal.
and family value.
If you don't have it as a woman, you better have it. Look for a family friend that you guys have the same goal.
Don't be an island.
That you guys are working in the same direction.
Yeah.
And work together with them and raise your children.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Look for cousins that you guys have the same goal and the same values. And work together and raise your children.
Yeah.
We're just going to say because we are educators, like I told you guys. So as educators, how do you think, let me start with Ms. Amy. How do you think that educators can raise resilient children in their classroom? So Ms. Amy, over to you.
Practically, it's not easy because some children will just,
Test your patience.
make you want to be like this one. Leave education and go and learn mechanic work. But you just
You said they want to make you go and learn mechanic.
they'll lie you
want to
tell
tell
them. They should stop
I've
wasting
given
their
up on
money.
you.
But you just can't.
Yeah.
You have
As a person
You're a resident teacher, so
Good.
you have to put it in them.
Yes.
You can keep trying. There's not, and before you know it, nobody is useless or completely empty.
Thank you
Yeah.
for saying.
Just
First of all, you have
try.
to be a resilient teacher.
Teacher, yeah.
You have to.
What you have is what you give.
What you have is what you give. You
Yes.
have to be a resilient
Resilient
teacher
teacher.
first.
Before you can
You have
raise a
to.
resilient
You have to
teacher.
put your. I see teachers that will come in here first. They will pray over their classrooms.
Yeah.
Pray over every seat in their
Yeah.
classrooms.
Over
pray
every
and
child.
pray over every
Over
child.
every
Mentioning names of every child.
Of every
We had
child.
a teacher that had a short stay. He was between that guy.
Yeah.
I used to see that.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
his name, Mr.
Casey.
He will pray over every child,
Wow.
pray over every seat. So first and foremost, you have to be resilient.
Resilient as
To
an
raise-
educator.
as an educator,
Raise
to raise
a
a
resilient
resilient
child. Yeah, very interesting.
So, Missy Foma, how do you think?
Okay, I think I teach a Ruby class, and these children they have plenty lots of every child on earth, they have their strengths, and just like we pointed out.
Weaknesses.
Yeah. So, but then there when you fail in that Ruby class, it's as though the whole world is on top of your head. So
Exactly.
there's this thing we started recently doing in our school. It was just like raising kings and queens of each class, and one of them, the first day we did it, cried all through that day. In fact, he was just thrown off balance. Others stopped crying. He kept crying. He kept telling the king, I must sit on this seat next week.
Yeah.
I must sit
And
on
that's
this seat.
affirmation, and it
Yes.
comes to pass, yeah.
I must sit on this seat. Now, the next week, after all that, he did still win. He did still win the king. He kept saying it. The last time
not
we
giving
did
up.
it, he's not giving up.
Yeah.
He might cry, he will cry. And he will, in fact, he will cry more than everybody, but he won't give up.
yeah.
He kept telling that person that is the king, I must
am the
sit,
next person
I must
to
sit
be on
on
this
this, I must be a royalty in this class.
Yeah.
The third time we did it, he was just one score. One score below the president, just one score.
Okay.
So
that means he's close to his
that means the
goals.
next time we are about doing it, I'm seeing him emerging.
Okay.
So you see, all of these things is all about grooming these children to know that we can do this.
Yeah.
You can do
And you
this.
don't give up.
And you
Don't
don't
give
give
up.
up.
Yes.
And let it not be like you're creating an unhealthy competition
Yeah,
around them.
no.
Let the competition be
Healthy,
healthy.
right?
And let it not be like I must do everything it takes
By hook or
by hook or by crook.
And another
No.
thing, even though you are making them to be resilient, still give room for collaboration.
Exactly.
You know, that's why I am always emphasis on like how not during exam, how they sit even during classes. Still give room for collaboration. Because
Collaboration.
what A doesn't know, B is gonna teach.
Yeah, yeah.
There is collaboration is key.
It's very important.
It is very, very,
From
very
there they
important.
learn teamwork.
From there they learn teamwork, and teamwork is everything.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Nancy, how do you think teachers
Yeah.
can make
Educators.
oh sorry
Educators.
educators sorry can raise resilient children in their classrooms?
Okay, I think for me, I feel all educators should learn how to celebrate their pupils or their students' progress and not the success at all times. You understand? Like when you celebrate those ones that are there, those ones that are still struggling, once they make
That's why we always
effort,
give this award.
put in any
most
effort,
improved.
exactly
Most
celebrate
improved.
them.
Celebrate your most improved.
Celebrate them, celebrate the progress, not only the success. Another thing in this collaboration Mrs. Suka talked about, we have the 7 C's of raising a resilient child. And I think we have competence, collaboration, communication, stuff like that. So in all of this, it all boils down to the teamwork we are talking about. Because nobody is an island.
Not
Nobody
at
is a
all.
monopoly of knowledge. You would definitely grow up to work with people. Even if you have your own organization, you will still employ people to work with
Exactly.
you. You understand? To work for you or with you.
They have to work with you.
So
Yes.
you really have to work with people. And the earlier we start telling children the importance of that collaboration,
The better.
because if they don't collaborate, that is why you see some people being withdrawn. I know when we were growing up, they talk about the introverts
An
the
extrovert.
In fact, do you know there was a time in my life I thought I was an introvert.
Eh?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was like that because my parents, like my mom, basically made us understand that because we weren't so rich, So she would always like to tell us to run away from troubles, don't mingle with rich people so that you not get me into trouble. So I got withdrawn. So I felt I was an introvert. So, but at the long run, it won't do you, it will do more harm than good. Because you need people.
Because you need to know how to
The
network.
gift of men is even the greatest gift.
What's that adage I usually say?
Which
That
one?
one that is
God is fair.
no. That adage I usually say about men.
I can't remember.
There is a place.
And there is a place for people in fulfillment of destiny. Very good. No,
true.
seriously, she actually changed my narrative and the way I see things because I felt my mom said you should stay on your own and you should just maintain it. Don't even if you want to
don't
go.
cross
I
the
used
line.
to run like
That was the same with me growing up. I think it was somebody I met that told me, Chika, there's a place for
people
in the
in
fulfillment
the
of
fulfillment of destiny, and it is just the truth. It is just the truth. So collaboration is very important. Communication, competence, all those 7 C's of raising a resilient child.
So it is
should
very
be incorporated.
So when we are saying competence, that means you need to show your children how competent you are.
Yeah.
You need to be a resilient parent, showing them
By
how you are a
example.
resilient parent.
Yeah.
Tell them of your struggles and how you were able to bounce
You don't
back.
just tell them.
Don't
you,
just tell
you
them
act
the
it.
perfect picture
You
and act it out.
You
Yeah.
act it because they are watching you.
As a teacher, you should celebrate the process, not just the success.
success.
Celebrate the progress. If somebody is doing well,
Yeah.
celebrate that there's somebody
Encourage
coming
the
up,
person.
that
Yeah,
there's somebody
to do
coming
more.
up and to do more and
Yeah.
more than just celebrating those people that are just
Are
the
right there already.
So to this, we've come to the end of our podcast today. And we are saying thanks for watching.
Thank you.
It's been amazing. So for example, let's introduce ourselves. We start from the lady in blue. Blue.
Oh yeah, my name is Miss Ifoma Ogazi.
Also known as
Angela.
Angela.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
my
So
name.
what did I ask you?